Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McLeland filed a motion that argues that defense attorneys Bradley Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin should be held in contempt of court for what he calls a trend of not being completely honest with the court. The prosecutor says the attorneys violated the gag order by issuing a press release proclaiming Richard Allen's innocence. He also points to information leaked to the public through Baldwin's office. Veteran defense attorney Ben Jaffe believes the prosecutor has outlined a strong case for sanctions.
When you got a gag order, when you have something like that, you have, evidence that's sealed or something like that, you have to respect that. And the judge is definitely going to have to take a look at what kind of remedies are there to ensure that it's enforced and that people understand this is a serious matter.
Rozzi and Baldwin could face court reprimand, fines, or even jail if found in contempt by Judge Francis Gull. At the same time, the defense is asking that Judge Gull remove herself from the case, alleging she cannot be impartial after she accused Allen's attorneys of gross negligence and forced them to resign before the Indiana Supreme Court reinstated them.
And as much as a headache as this probably is for her, and this is not a fun case for her to be on, she's certainly not looking to, get herself out of this problematic case or this very difficult case. I think she probably appreciates, someone is needed on this with a lot of experience, and someone that's able to sort of handle the personalities.
So if Judge Gull does not remove herself, Jaffe expects the defense to take this appeal right back to the Indiana Supreme Court again. Another longtime defense attorney told me today that Judge Gull should do the honorable thing and step aside. He called this case an embarrassment.
Yeah, so many twists and turns.
Sure.
Rich, thanks so much. It has been
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Legal battle surrounding Delphi murders case gets personal. None of the legal wrangling deals with the real issue on trial, the murders of Libby German and Abby Williams in February 2017. Delphi, Ind. The legal battle surrounding the Delphi murders case is becoming more personal. The prosecutor wants the defense attorneys held in contempt of court. At the same time, the defense is asking the special judge to remove herself from the case. It is somewhat of a soap opera, said Indianapolis longtime defense attorney Ben Jaffe, who offered his legal opinion on the latest court filings. It's definitely become something where people are watching for what's going on between not the parties in terms of the accused and the state, but now, it's all the players have sort of become actors, unfortunately, in this drama that everyone's kind of tuning into now. None of this legal wrangling deals with the real issue on trial, the murders of Libby German and Abby Williams in February 2017, and whether Richard Allen is responsible. Allen's jury trial is scheduled for October. But right now, Judge Francis Gull must deal with two motions filed this week. Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McLeland filed a motion that argues that defense attorneys Bradley Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin should be held in contempt of court for what he calls a trend of not being completely honest with the court. The prosecutor said the attorneys violated the gag order in the case by issuing a press release December 1, 2022, proclaiming Allen's innocence. McLeland also points to information, including crime scene photos, leaked to the public through Baldwin's office. Richard Allen's attorneys Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rozzi. Mitch Westerman, a former employee of Baldwin's law firm, faces a misdemeanor conversion charge for his role in evidence in the case going public. Westerman admitted to investigators that he took photos of evidence in a conference room in Baldwin's Franklin, Indiana law office, then gave those photos to someone else before they eventually were published on social media. The prosecutor said the investigation into Westerman discovered evidence that Baldwin talked candidly to Westerman about the case, the judge, and the prosecutor, displaying free flow of information that is protected by the court's gag order and the order protecting discovery.
A new development tonight at 11 in the Delphi murders case. In the last couple of hours, 13 News got court documents filed by the Carroll County prosecutor late today requesting the judge hold Richard Allen's attorneys, Brad Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin, in contempt of court. The prosecutor in the case, Nick McClellan, outlines 25 reasons for doing so. Among them, he says, Baldwin violated the gag order in the case. However, one potential violation the prosecutor cites happened the day before that gag order was actually issued. McClellan also says the defense counsel failed to secure evidence. The state asked the court to set a hearing for that request. Now, all of this is coming as Rozzi and Baldwin are now renewing their efforts to get that judge removed. So they're saying there is a long history of bias and prejudice showing that Judge Frances Gull cannot be impartial and give their client a fair trial. Judge Gull herself will be the one deciding if she should be removed from the Delphi murders case. Richard Allen, as you know, is accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German nearly 7 years ago. We're monitoring the newest filings in this case, keeping an eye on any future developments. You can find all of
Jaffe believes the prosecutor makes a strong case for sanctions against the defense attorneys. When you've got a gag order, evidence that is sealed or something like that, you have to respect that, Jaffe said. The judge is definitely going to have to take a look at what kind of remedies are there to ensure that it's enforced and that people understand this is a serious matter. Rozzi and Baldwin could face court reprimand, fines, or even jail time if found in contempt by Gull. At the same time, the defense is asking that Gull remove herself from the case, alleging she has shown bias and prejudice and cannot be impartial after she accused Allen's attorneys of gross negligence and forced them to resign before the Indiana Supreme Court reinstated them January 18. As much as a headache as this probably is for her, this is not a fun case for her to be on. She's certainly not looking to get herself out of this problematic case or this very difficult case, Jaffe said. I think she probably appreciates someone as needed on this with a lot of experience and someone that's able to sort of handle the personalities. If Gull does not remove herself, Jaffe expects the defense to take an appeal right back to the Indiana Supreme Court.
Tonight, the attorneys for the man who's charged in the Delphi murders of 2 teen girls are once again asking that the special judge on the case be removed from it.
The Indiana Supreme Court turned down that request earlier this month, but the justices did put Allen's original court-appointed attorneys back on the case.
Our Rich Nye spent this day looking at the new court filings in the case, and he joins us live from the newsroom with what he learned after that review. Rich?
The original defense team is back on the case after they say the judge forced them to resign last fall. They now say in court filings that's just one example of how this judge is biased and prejudiced against their client. A motion to disqualify Special Judge Frances Gull argues there is no recognizable legal rationale which supports Judge Gull continuing to preside over this case. Attorneys Bradley Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin say that the Indiana Supreme Court ruling that Richard Allen should have the attorneys he wants is further evidence that Judge Gull cannot be impartial in this case. The attorneys also filed an affidavit signed by Allen that lists 19 arguments why the judge should remove or recuse herself, including her public accusations that Rozzi and Baldwin engaged in gross negligence in refusing to let them continue representing Allen. Meantime, those lawyers are also asking a third time for Allen to be removed from a state prison. The Carroll County prosecutor says he has no preference for where Allen stays awaiting trial. He submitted photos of special arrangements made for Allen at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility so he could have face-to-face meetings with his attorneys. And Judge Frances Gull says she will set a hearing on the latest motion for Allen to be moved to a county jail, and she will now be deciding herself if she will be stepping down from this case.